Welcome to Happiness Matters Podcast Edition. I'm Goddess Valentina, the healing goddess. I have a passion and quest to help anyone whose heart is open to receive enlightenment, love, and just a heartfelt message. I will continue to add to the universe light and inspiration for the people. When you feel better, you do better. Today I'd like to talk about something that just came to my mind is, who are you? That's the message. Who are you? Who are you? Who were you before the pain, before the children, before the marriages, before divorces, before the jobs, before trauma, before pain? Do you remember who you were? Something to think about. I remember myself before the divorces and the pain. I've had 2 divorces. I have 1 beautiful marriage now, but I did have 2 divorces. And so the message is that when you're in something, say you're in a relationship that's kind of unhealthy, you need to always go back to who you were and use that person, your healthy self that was free of pain, and use that person that was full of light and focus on that person and know what happiness feels like. You know how that looks, how that feels, and that what you're in does not defy who you are. Tough times don't always last. You have to push through, and if you're in something that is very difficult, of course you need to properly plan your execution. You need to have focus, and you need not to divert from it. And it might take you a long time depending on your situation, but there's always a way out. There's always a way. And you just need to focus on who was that person. I have some people that I know who are on the top of their game, and a couple wrong decisions has them in years, maybe 10 years of struggle, stress, strain, and sometimes it's hard for them to even remember who they were because of these decisions, their life is forever changed. And yes, this is so true. But we still need to rise. In order to get from those hard times, we need to look at our characteristics and say, you know what? I was a go-getter. You know what? I liked to exercise in the morning. You know what? I like to take long walks. You know what? I used to listen to music. I used to write songs. I used to write poetry. You know what? I didn't always take somebody's stuff. Who were you? That is your authentic self. That beautiful, pure being. Now you've been molded from decisions into what life, has for you. Yes, and in many faiths and many religions and things, they say, it molds you for the next step. And I do believe that there's paths, there's different roads to take. And if the more emotional healthy you are and your moral compass, if those things are healthy, then I really feel that you would take better decisions. When you are based on your own wisdom and nothing else, or you're doing what other people are doing and not going off wisdom or getting direction, if there's any. Sometimes there is no one. You look all around and there's nobody wiser than yourself, and so you have to just based on instinct, right? And what you know. And I believe that a lot of us that have fallen in that category from time to time, we may not have made the best decision for ourselves. And so we went into a road that was slightly altered and we got banged up a little bit. And, we need to find how to get back on track. So What I'm saying is to help you get back on track and to remember who you was before all of this. Remember who that fantastic, strong person was. And yes, these situations, they make you strong too. They actually kind of build like if you need to be strong, it builds armor. And these situations also, they're unpleasant. They show you what you're made out of. Sometimes we need to see that we are a lot stronger than what we are. So there are blessings in that. But if you don't have to get banged up, it's easier, it's a little bit nicer to take a little bit more calmer road. You're still going to learn the lessons, but you're going to learn them in a different way, in a way that's not as painful or as impactful. You'll learn them in a more gentle way, depending on the path. So I encourage you to continue to remember who you was. And when you were at your glory, what was that like? Who was that like? Write it down. I was the best basketball player in my time, and I was an athlete, and anything that makes you smile. I was great at shooting rocks across the water, and I was great at building things with my hands and stuff like that. Whatever it was, write it down and tap into some of that, because that's how you were created. Before all this pain and all this suffering, you were created that way. So that's your unique gift. These are the things that you were born with, that illuminated when you were younger. And you need to pull into that strength to illuminate yourself again. And it's hard. It's so hard when things have happened and you're trying to get back to that person. It seems like many lifetimes over. But if you continue to take time to focus on that person, maybe get a picture, an old picture of yourself when you were at your glory, you can write, all the things and characteristics of that person was, and tap into that. And I assure you that when you connect with that energy again, a spark is going to happen. Divine inspiration is going to happen. And you're going to say, you know what? Why am I doing this? I used to do this and I was very successful, and I need to go back to that. Because life can take us all over the place if we allow it to. It gets very difficult when you become more responsible for more people. It gets very difficult. It gets very challenging. But we also have to remain our true selves. And we can compromise on things, but our core nucleus, that's what we were brought into this world with. That could never be compromised. So I ask you, as a gladiator, as a warrior, if you're still here on this earth after what you've been through, then you are a gladiator. You're not a victim. You're a gladiator. You're strong, and you're still strong because you're listening for information, for wisdom, for inspiration, for compassion. You're listening. You're trying to seek knowledge. And anyone that continues to gravitate to the light is someone that's a gladiator and a warrior. And you just earn your purple heart for what you've been through. Okay, now we're trying to get you back to who you was. Who are you designed to be? I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I've had 2 previous divorces, and I have a beautiful, beautiful marriage that took a long time to get through all of my stuff, but I finally was able through the divine grace to get to where I needed to be. But I had a conversation, and a friend of mine said, You had to have learned something from your divorces. And what I told her was, I've gotten pain and destruction from both of those two marriages by not knowing who I was entering into these marriages, and just not emotionally healthy. I was raised with an emotionally unhealthy mother, and I just didn't tap into that unhealthiness. It was like I was a kid watching a horror show every day. What's going to happen next? And you know what? Even though you're watching it, it starts to soak into you and you don't even know. You just don't know. And then in relationships and things, it just starts to show up and you're just like, yo, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Like, that's not me. This is not me. Where am I getting this behavior from? And so, coming from now, doing a lot of studying, I'm a warrior too. I have a goddess sword. I do. I have a wonderful sword. I purchased the sword to show it's a place of honor for me, saying, you know what, you've been through so much and you've made it, and you are a fighter and you're not a victim, and you don't let anyone, no matter what, tear you down. And so it's called the goddess sword. If you Google it, you could see it. It's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. But what I was saying is I learned a lot of pain and what pain feels like. Emotional pain where you've been hit with a 747 and you're leaking fuel and the doors have flown off the plane and you're hollow. I know that depths of dark pain, being ripped apart, losing everything. And this is why I have this channel. So is that emotional pain is real, and emotional pain is painful, and people need support systems in place. People need really good, emotionally healthy people around them that think in a very good way, because an emotional healthy person that has a really slick tongue can just say something and just with a little twist, and it could be so evil. And it could alter your thinking. It can alter your mind. And you have to be very careful, especially, if you've been through something, you might be second guessing everything about yourself. And I'm asking you not to second guess. What I'm asking for you is to go back to when you were illuminating as a younger person before all this pain, and sit there and take time and remember who that person was, and find that person, because that person will lead you back to the path, definitely, and you will be back on track. But you've got to put that person in front of you, because that is your unique self. That is your beautiful divine self, the way you were created before going into this world and being banged up. Yeah, so I learned about the horrors of emotional pain. But what got me through is people like, you got married a third time? Yep, I sure did. I took a 10-year break, and I got back on the path. And I got my mind, my soul, everything together. I went through the layers of pain and twisted things that was taught to me and all of those things, and I cleared it. What I did was I erased all that. I erased all that thinking, and I relearned it with new enlightenment, new thinking, new ways to function in my life. And with these tools, I have been able to fly above mountains and to move very swiftly through my life, and to avoid a lot of pitfalls that the old thinking would have fell into. So it's all about a shift in consciousness, shift in thinking, and a determination, and channeling in to that wonderful being, that wonderful person that's in that you were, that you still are. But you just have all this, you've just been in battle for a while. Okay? And we just have to repair you. So be not making healthy decisions for yourself. You can pick unhealthy people because you are attracting that, because that's what you are at the time, and you have no idea really that this stuff is going on, and you can get slaughtered. And as children, depending on what kind of environment you grew up in, you're actually watching a show, and that show is like turned on every single day, and it does something to you. I did have really one healthy parent, and I used to use that as a filtering system, and thank God, because I would probably still have so much, 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 tons more work to do. I probably wouldn't even know how to see the day. It would probably be so much harder. But this one parent that I have is really just, I love my parent very much, but the unhealthiness, it's a sad thing. And they choose not to want to be healthy. They said, why should I choose to be healthy, and then I won't have a happy marriage? I'm just like, what? But that's just the unhealthiness speaking. So I'm just saying is that stay focused on who you are. You're a gladiator. You're a warrior. You're not a victim. You've just been taught some unhealthy things and made some decisions, and kind of went off the path. But we always have, every day is a new day to get on the path, to make better decisions, and to be strong, and to be wise, and to seek wisdom constantly, and not on your own. You know some stuff. You've been through some stuff, so you know what not to go to, what to avoid, and the type of energy. So that, yes, you've gained. But to enlighten yourself, to get to the path, to get to where you need to be, you need teachers, you need books, you need mentors, you need something. Okay. And for me, it was, I started studying faiths from 5,000 years back. And I wanted to know, how did they learn? What did they know? What can I learn from this? You know, is there any enlightenment? And I was enlightened. I was enlightened, and my soul brightened. And I said to myself, oh my God, if more people knew this today, it would really change the world. It would really light up this place. And it lit me up. I made some great, solid decisions, and I fell more deeper in love with the divine, and got a deeper connection. And these messages started coming. I have an SD shop, Happiness Matters 88, because your happiness matters. And there's wonderful people here on YouTube who have wonderful videos, who have been enlightened themselves, who have gone to the journeys, and they're just giving out messages, brewing messages. I've learned so much for so many wonderful people here on YouTube, and I just want to contribute also to you guys. Like, you guys are wonderful. Like, I want to share my stuff too. If you're listening, still listening, I want to say thank you so much for continuing listening to this message. I just have to give back. It's the only way to do it. I did the hard work, and my friends have failed me many of times over. I mean, because when you're unhealthy, emotionally unhealthy, you attract unhealthy people. And as you become healthier, the relationships and friendships tend to get a little strained, because they're not ready to get healthy with you. It's not their time. So you tend to find yourself alone on the journey. But in time, you start picking up new, interesting people that are on the journey too, and can share more enlightenment. And it's a wonderful ride. I've met the most amazing people that are heightened with so much light and so much wisdom. It's unbelievable, but you got to get on the level. You got to get on the path. And when you get on the path, you get aligned. It's like traveling along and you go to a new city, you know, and you see the customs of this city and these people, or this country and these people. It's not the same. Everything changes, So I'm just letting you know that you can do it, and just a gift of an inspiration. And I hope this was helpful, and God bless, and take care of yourself. And um, if you like this message, I will continue to add more messages here. So this is Goddess Valentina. Your happiness matters. Happiness matters. And you're a warrior, and you're not a victim. You're a fighter, and I salute you. So have a good day and take care. Bye.